thanks for joining us again this week. We've been working on our outer loop of track, getting that down and getting that wired up, ready to run the trains. Running in the War Department train. Whilst I'm running in a couple of trains, I'm going to start by soldering on some wires onto this piece of track. Then we can fix that down and then start fixing down the rest of the loop and soldering some more wires. So we're going to try and get the outside loop done today. Yeah, I'm running in a couple of trains actually while we're doing some other work. The black train's faster than the blue one, it keeps catching him up. So I have to put the blue one behind him again once the black one catches him up. There you see, look, nearly caught him up. And then I'll have to stop him and put him behind him. There you go, look, he's caught him. Preparing the wires to put on the track, preparing the track itself, and then putting the solder on the ends of the wires, and then soldering the wires to the actual track itself. I've got the first straight fixed down, and then I've put down two curved pieces of track. I've put a couple of pins in to hold the track down, but the track is actually lifting up. So what I've done was I painted a bit of glue on the bottom of the track, and I've now weighted the track down with some foam and the bricks. So that's going to hold that to the track base. So hopefully 10-15 minutes, maybe a bit longer, that's going to hold the track in a more stable place. So as we go around, sometimes we have to adapt and do different things to try and get the track held down. Also, another pain is the metal pieces here. You see these metal pieces for the power base. They're great. Well, if they're going to work, but the problem I have is I can't get the track pins. So these track pins don't go through the metal. So I have to drill a hole. So it's a real pain drilling a hole, and my drill's not working very well. So lots of different problems trying to get this track down up that hill. But we keep going and we see how far we get. Now this section of track here, so I need to cut some track to fit in here. So you see I've got the end of my point just about there. I've connected this end of the track, and then now I need to mark on the track where I need to cut. So I'm going to cut about there on that side and there on the other side. So I've marked on the top of the track where we're going to cut. So let's take the track off, and you can see just about where I've marked it. Oh yeah, you can see the black marks just there on the track where I've marked it, okay, on both sides. So we're going to cut this track. I'll cut off the sleepers at the bottom, cut these little sleepers here, so we can trim those off. Actually, I can do that now. So I can use my little plastic trimmer to trim the sleepers. So there we go, that's that one, and all the other sides already done. That's useful. So now actually I can pull this side out. There you go, you see? Oh, actually it's pulled the other side. So yeah, so now I've got my section. So now I can cut in here with my cutters. Oh, here's my cutters. So I get my flush cutters, and then now carefully, wherever I am cutting, about there, cut one and cut two. Okay, and there we go. So here's my piece of track. I need to clean up those ends a little bit just so we can clean them up, and then that piece of track is going to fit nicely in there when we adjust our sleepers. To put a fiddly little fish plate on the end of the track, if I can get it on there. Okay, there you go, sorted. Oh, you know what? I forgot to cut those chairs, didn't I? The little sleeper chairs, you remember the little plastic bits there? I forgot to cut that bit, and then I can push the sleeper on a bit further. So I better cut that bit. Then we carefully fit the track into the other piece, very carefully. On that, these on. That's good. That side as well. Okay, so he's fitted onto there, so that's good. And then now I've just got to get the other end in. So over here on that point, I'm going to have to remove this point section to push that in. So, but that will go in there nicely. I've got to drill some holes for all the different point motors. So I'll get all those done now before I start putting the points down, otherwise I'm going to forget. So get these done first. Try not to get sawdust in my tea. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 holes, that's all good. And of course tidy up with that hoover. We've put in this section of track here, I've fixed all that in, so we can give it a test run now through the points with a little loco. There we go, it works quite nicely. Now, because I haven't got all the power wired up yet, I need to just play with that. Oh, hold on. There he goes. So our train can come in and out. So the track looks okay, all the points look fine. All good. So yeah, I'm going to have to wire up this other circuit in a second. I'll put some wire there and then, well, I've got the wires in there, I just need to connect them up and then we can run both circuits. So these points look okay for the moment. I need to test these points as well, make sure they're okay, but I won't be able to do that until I wire up this outside section. So I'll get on with that and then we'll come back and see how that works. So we're going to put these extra wires into our wiring block. So pick them up, find them. There's one. Where's the other one gone? Oh, he's under here somewhere. Another red one. I've lost the red wire. Oh, here he is. Right, got it. So we put these two wires together. Push them into the connector block. Okay, push those in and do it up. Okay, he's done up. And then now I've got to do the same with the black wire. So let's get the black wire out. Him into the connector block and do them all up. So he's nicely done up now. So hopefully I'll be able to test the outside circuit. Well, we're testing the outside circuit and there's something not quite right. He doesn't really want to move. And then I go back to the inside circuit now and again there's some problem. So in electrical terms, that's what we've got what's called a short circuit. So somewhere there's a problem. So I'm going to have to go and find my multimeter and see what I've done with the wiring. Maybe I've connected the wiring up the wrong way around, so I need to check that. Just make sure I haven't got any problems with that wiring, and then we can carry on. Well, I've got my multimeter out. We've got our little probes. So now I've got it set to a resistance setting. So if you watch that needle, when I touch the bars, can you see? That goes up. So that means we've got a good connection. So normally on the same side of the rail, you would expect a good connection. So that's okay. But now if I do to the opposite rail, can you see now I've also got a connection on the opposite rail. So that means we've got what's called a short circuit. So this is an electrical problem. So probably what's happened is some of the wires that I've put already through the track, some of the cables are probably touching. So I need to tip up the whole board, find where my cables are touching, and then I'll sort that out. So that's probably what the problem is. So yeah, I've got what's called a short circuit. So that's not very good. I need to sort him out. So I found the problem. As you can see, okay, you've got the meter up there. You see, okay, we've got connectivity when I touch. So if I touch these two rails, you see, we've got connectivity. So if I touch the plates, can you see? They're conductive. These are metal or light steel. So if you go in and see on there, can you see in here, this wire is touching the metal plate, and that wire also is touching the metal plate. So I'm going to need to move these wires away from the metal plate so they don't touch it, because that's where our short circuit is coming from. Problem solved. You know, I've squashed both wires so that they're no longer touching the metal plates. So I really need to be careful about that in the future. I hadn't really realised that. So I don't think I've got any other wires going through metal plates anymore. But that obviously was the problem. So if I've got any others, I need to be careful. So we've got multiple sets of wires here on the underside now from where we've done all our wiring. So just as a precaution, I'm going to put some little chocolate blocks on all of these wires so that we can stop them from touching together, just in case. I will wire the whole thing up later on, but I'm not going to do that now. But yeah, I'll put these on as a precaution. Well, the track is progressing around the back through the tunnel. So I've just I've glued this down as well. I put a bit of glue just to help stick the track to the plates. A couple of nails in, some extra nails on this section. Oh, sorry, on this section here. So I just put some extra nails. These won't be seen because this is going to be in a tunnel, so it doesn't matter if it's not tidy. Remember, I've got problems banging nails through those metal plates, so I did find one or two places. I put in a nail here and another one back there. So now next thing to do, I've got to put this straight in that will go over the bridge, but I'm going to solder some wires, so some power wires from here, and I've drilled a little hole down there, you see, just to put the wires through. So my next job, I'm just warming up the soldering iron over there, so I'm going to be soldering those wires on the track. So we've measured the straight in, the straight comes in, I've put some more wires here on this curve. These curves are now attached and glued down. So now I'm coming to this bridge section. So I've got a little bit of work to do here because remember, I haven't actually attached this bridge yet. So I've got to sort this out because our point needs to go on there, So obviously I'm going to have to sort out this section. Otherwise I'm going to have a problem later when I try and fix this down. So I want to carry on with the loop, but I've really got to sort out this support here before we carry on with this particular loop. So that'll be my next job. Slight change of plan. As you can see, I've got that piece of black underlay in there, so that's ready for that point to go on. So actually the point doesn't go onto that bridge area, so I can leave that section for the moment. I've got a few other things that I've got to sort out over there, so I'm going to carry on with this loop for now. Well, assuming that this ruler is straight, can you see that the track by my little finger is slightly bent? So where I've pushed the track in a little bit too hard, I think I've slightly compressed the point or slightly bent the point. So I'm going to have to need to reduce the pressure on that slightly so that we can straighten it out a little bit. Thanks for watching this week. We'll see you next week.
8:30 p.m.